We got Grant Dawson back here on the program. He was coming off a draw at UFC Vegas 41 on October 23rd. Grant, I know it's not a win, it's not a loss. How you feeling, man? How's everything?
If it's not a win, it's a loss. So, it is what it is. I got a lot of experience from the fight, and we're going to move on it. Long way to go, but I know what I need to work on, and believe me, it's going to get worked on.
Was this fight personal at all heading into this? I know when I spoke to Rick, he was kind of irked at the whole Richard thing. Was it personal on your end? I think on his end, it was a little bit.
Man, first off, the Richard thing, we talked after the fight, and he told me, I saw the interview that he did with you, and I never wanted to target his mother. I never wanted to insult his mother at all. My older brother's name is Rick, and he hates being called Richard. And so as a joke, I was calling him that. I had no idea what the backstory was. Now I know. And if I had known, I never would have said that. But other than that, I never felt like I crossed the line. You asked me, do you think I'm going to win? And I said, yes. You asked him if you thought he was going to win, and he said, yes. If he wants to, be up in his feelings before a fight, that's on him. But it's never personal in here. I've never fought anybody that I cared about fighting. I don't care about fighting Rick Glenn. I don't care about fight. The only person I care about fighting is whoever has the belt and whoever's going to get me one step closer to the belt. So no, it was never personal for me. If you took the whole Richard thing personally because of his mother, I do apologize about that. Not because I hurt his feelings, but because I hurt his mother's feelings, and I would never want to do that.
That's what I thought, pretty much, because I mean, obviously, like, I've known you a long time. I know that that's not something you'd cross the line. And when he said that, I'm like, I don't think that's why he said that. It was just because of and I think you even brought up the brother thing as well. So just wanted to make sure everything was, sort of A-okay, sort of heading in. The game plan in the fight, I think, was pretty obvious. Use your wrestling, get the takedowns. Was there anything else that, you were supposed to do in the fight that you didn't do? Or was there anything kind of looking back that you wish you would have done in the fight?
I was up 2-0 pretty convincingly going into the third. And I just kept having this idea in my head, like, don't get knocked out. Don't get knocked out. If you get knocked out, we will lose, obviously. I didn't think he could submit me. I didn't think that he could, hurt me on the ground. And when I couldn't get him down in the third, I started taking bad shots. And I made a bad call, James. I made a bad call, and I'm going to have to live with that bad call for the rest of my life. I shot in and I pulled guard, which I never do. I never train. I never tell any of my fighters to pull guard. I don't know why I did it. It was in the moment, and I made a bad call, and it ended up not losing me the fight, but it ended up not letting me win the fight. So I learned from it. We'll move on, and it'll never happen again.
Third round, was it just, were you tired at all? That was something that people were sort of bringing up as well. Did you feel like your cardio was out, or like, what do you say to those critics, I guess, would be my question.
I mean, there's nothing I can say to them. Yes, I was tired. We're fighting. You fight that guy. Tell me if you don't get tired. I wasn't as physically tired as I was mentally tired. It just, I just kept having this idea in my head, like, because I'm coming off of before this fight, I was coming off of a last second knockout. And all I could think was, I'm clearly up 2-0. So if I don't get knocked out, I'll win. I couldn't get the takedown and things. I made a bad call. I made a bad call. I know people aren't going to believe me, but I could have gotten up and I could have, gotten away from him, and I was letting him stay on top of me because I just kept thinking, just get past, like, I've already lost this round. Even if I do get up, I'm not going to win the round. So I might as well just lose this round. We'll go 29-28 and we'll fix everything later. And it was a bad call, but I got a long way to go, and I got a lot of, I got to beat a lot of people before I make this one up. So that's what's next.
And the other thing as well from the fight is also the fact that, at the end, he said that you were out. It didn't look like you were out. They were kind of talking on the broadcast or whatever. What are sort of your thoughts at the end of the fight? Because that was another sort of talking point.
I mean, yeah, I would have tried to say I was out too. I would have, I was so exhausted. I couldn't move, when I was going down, like you can see on the video, I'm rubbing my eyes and I'm like, I'm exhausted. Yes, you know, you almost had it. You almost finished me. I was definitely saved by the bell, 100%. But unconscious, out, no. And even if I was, what are they gonna do now? Like change it to a no contest? Okay, like it wasn't a draw. It was a no contest. Like get out of here, man. I get what he was trying to do. I would have done the exact same thing. I would have argued the exact same way. I have no problem with what he was trying to do and whatnot. But no, yes, I was saved by the bell. But that's part of our sport, you know. I would have had his back for 15 minutes if he wasn't saved by the bell in the first round. So it is what it is, man. You know, we play by the rules, and you just got to kind of move on.
Some other positives from the night, though. Jeff Molina getting that win. David, your teammate as well, making his debut, putting on a really good performance. Were you still able to enjoy the night as well, or was it kind of like, man, I can't really celebrate tonight?
No, I don't ever celebrate. I don't drink. I don't, do any type of drugs. I don't go out. So I did the exact same thing that I would have done if I had won. I just went back to my hotel room and jerked off and went to bed. So, you know, uh, it's the same, man. I'm so happy for my teammates. Jeff Molina he's the future of the 125-pound division. That kid has some of the best striking I've ever seen. He can grapple. He really is just good everywhere. He doesn't get tired. He is mentally probably the strongest human being I've ever met. Like he does not care about anybody's feelings. Like he is such a competitor, man. And I definitely think that he will be a UFC champion someday. And David, that dude could outdog my pit bull. You know, like the amount of fight that is in that kid is just awesome. And I don't want to make any excuses for him, but I think that if it wasn't on 4 days notice and it wasn't at 155, I don't think that guy would have been able to take the shots that he took. So good on him. David will be back. Jeff will be back. I will be back. Everything's going to be okay.
When are you looking to get back in there? Do you have an idea of when you want to have that next fight?
I have a 30-day suspension, and after that, a medical suspension, just so people don't freak out. A medical suspension, and then after that, I'm ready to go. My girl and I are going to Scotland on vacation in a couple of days, and so as soon as I get back, I'm going to start getting ready for the next one. I want December. Realistically, it'll probably be January.
Any
February.
Interest in a rematch because this was a draw, or are you sort of looking ahead to a different opponent at this point?
He asked me for a rematch, like in the cage, and I'm sure I'm down for it. Whatever. I don't really think how do I put this? I don't really think that I have anything I have to prove with him. If I go out and I beat him, like the thing that I have to prove is that I can fight for 3 rounds and that I don't have cardio issues, even though that's not what I showed in this fight. And I can do that with Ricky, or I can do that with the next guy. It really does not matter to me. There's no way I'm going to get a ranked guy after this. There's no way I'm going to get the fights that I wanted after this. So whatever the UFC and my management team and James Krause tell me to do, that's what I'm going to do. If it's Ricky, that's fine. If it's Joe Blow, fine. Whatever they tell me to do, I'm going to do. I'm in no position to make demands right now. So I'm going to work my way back. And then once I have a couple of wins under my belt, I'll make my demands.
What about Diego Ferreira? That was the original opponent, and then you ended up getting Ricky instead. Is that still a fight that would interest you? Because Diego's obviously ranked.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to fight Diego. I don't think that fight's going to happen. The word on the street is, and I've just been hearing this from non-reliable sources, so don't believe me, but the word on the street is Gamrot is getting that fight. He deserves that fight, so good for him. I'm glad Diego will have an opponent. That's definitely something that we'll look for in the future. Like I said, I'm in no position to make demands.
So you mentioned the trip to Scotland. What brought that trip? Why did you decide to go there of all places? I was just curious.
I've always been obsessed with okay, long story. I'm terrified of water I can't see the bottom of. I have a very irrational fear. Like I can't swim in lakes. I can't swim in the ocean. I have a very big fear of water I can't see the bottom of. But for some reason, I've always been obsessed with Loch Ness and the Loch Ness Monster. And my girl was like, we were watching this movie about the Loch Ness monster, and she was like, "Hey, would you go on vacation there and see that?" And I said, "Yes, that's somewhere I would go." And so that's how she talked me into it. I'm super excited to see Loch Ness and all that, and some castles and whatnot. But that's how that got started. And then my teammate James Gallagher actually fights in Ireland, and we're going up for that fight, watch him fight, and then we're flying to Scotland to do all that. So it's a whole thing that we got planned. We had it planned before the fight. We're gonna get that out of the way, reset, and I'm gonna come back again.
Grant, always appreciate the time, man. Enjoy the trip, and I'm sure we'll catch up once you get your next fight book. But in the meantime, if you got anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, social media, I'll give you the last word.
I don't really have anybody I want to thank other than my team and my coaches, as always. I will say, though, I got a long way to go, but you guys have not seen the last of me, and I will be champion someday. That will never change.